Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, president of Dealer Synergy, the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Network, and I got, a superstar, rising star in the automotive industry, Jenna Blankenbiller. She is the director of dealer relations for Dealer Synergy. Jenna, what's up?
Hey, Sean, thanks for having me.
All right, so man, folks, I got to tell you right now, we just had an absolutely incredible 1 day Cox Automotive VIN Solution CRM Masterclass. I know that's a lot of words and vowels and stuff like that, but my gosh, it was a phenomenal event in Chicago. So I want to just kind of start by saying that we had over 250 rooftops that showed up. We had Toyota manufacturer from the Chicago region showed up. Toyota actually certified this 1 day curriculum as official Toyota OEM training credits. Jenna, what was your opinion on the actual environment before we get into the tips? That's what this whole podcast is going to be about, is about tips, CRM. But let's just talk about the awesomeness. What did you think about the event?
The event was awesome. It was so it was set up correctly. It was just so welcoming when you walked in, and from the tables, the
Ambiance
ambiance
of
of
the
the
room.
room and
Yeah.
everything. It was just really awesome.
Well, you got to realize when you have a gazillion dollar company like Cox Automotive, they've got a lot of resources. So, shout out to Mark Vickery and, Kevin Schmidt, and then Debbie and Andre and Sylvie, everybody on the marketing side, everybody worked very, very hard together, worked together to create this beautiful event. But now let's get into it. So, you had this grand ballroom. It's probably like 7 or 8,000
Yeah.
square feet. There were no vendors. There were no exhibit
Mhm.
halls. This was purely a Cox Automotive and Dealer Synergy event. Dealer Synergy. We had our big branding there, our stuff. It was amazing. They hosted us and they were so kind. But let's now get into the substance. So I opened up the keynote, and my keynote, everybody, I'm going to post my deck here shortly. Probably later on today or tomorrow, I'm going to post my deck here. But what it was, how do I say this? It was a reality check. What I basically talked about is, look, the industry's changed. The bottom line is, here's a synopsis, is that there's more new car inventory for the vast majority of manufacturers, maybe except Toyota. Because there's more inventory, there's more rebates and incentives, there's more competition. But simultaneously, what's happening is that a lot of the floors, a lot of the dealerships have been decimated because there's a lot less people that work at dealerships. Because remember, during COVID, we didn't need to be open bell to bell, 9 to 9. We didn't need to flood the floors with a ton of salespeople, a ton of BDC reps. Why did we do that? Let me backtrack. Dealers flooded the floor with sales reps, BDC reps, and they worked bell to bells because they needed a certain level of production, a certain level of appointments, a certain level of appointments show, a certain level of appointments sold. And again, because most people have always been mediocre or they suck, there's not a lot of superstars. The average salesperson only sells 10 cars or less a month. That's not that great. And so, because if the average salesperson only sells 9 or 10 cars, you need to have X amount of bodies to be able to get to your 100, 200, 300, or X amount of cars per month. But when the pandemic hit, there wasn't any inventory. So you didn't need all these people and work bell to bell. Plus, if you had cars, you were able to sell them at record grosses. You could sell them more and make more money than you've ever made before. So wait a minute, you could have less people, less hours, and make more money. That's what we've been living on for years. But now that the party's over, we've got less people, less gross opportunity, less time to do so, and most importantly, they're not trained properly. So what we were talking about is that the CRM is so important. The CRM is so valuable on multiple levels. So I'll give you a couple of bullet points. One is you can actually save, and make an additional $1.4 million. Let me break that down. Okay. Matter of fact, I want to, as I'm talking to you, Jenna, I want to be able to show everybody one of the videos that we actually played. And I'm going to play it right now on the air with you guys. And it's pretty strong. All you got to do is, if you go to dealersynergy.com, So if you go to dealersynergy.com and you go to our, services, and if you go under CRM, there's this one amazing video right here. We're going to play most of it so everybody can hear this.
On average, dealers are losing $1.4 million a year because their CRM is broken. 90% of all dealerships have an improperly set up CRM. They are missing critical action plans and processes. They have antiquated templates that are not utilizing the necessary HTML and video components. They are not appropriately trained on their CRM. A username and password does not equal a CRM trained professional. They are not being held accountable for the CRM upkeep and in turn have adopted an optional usage culture. Most dealers only utilize a fraction of their CRM's capabilities. Dealerships on average spend about $60,000 a month on advertising and are overspending by about $15,000 a month. Not only can you save $1.4 million a year, but you can sell more cars and make more money on top of that. CRM is by far the most important tool for a dealership, a manager, and for any automotive professional. It is your command center for all things dealership related. The United States military would never neglect its command center, and neither should you. A CRM set up the right way increases gross profits dramatically, but a broken CRM is loaded with incorrect action plans, statuses, templates, and scripts, and that's costing your dealership up to $1.4 million a year. So if you want to fix your $1.4 million problem, you need to fix your CRM. Here's the good news. You don't need to be a CRM expert to do so. You just need to know one.
So as you see, the way that we come up with that is if the average dealership is spending $60,000 to $65,000 a month, if you saved $15,000 a month on stupid advertising, I firmly believe that most dealerships are overpaying for websites, for SEO, for SEM, for Facebook ads, for OTT, for, these third-party providers, these lead source providers, the online classifieds. There are some good ones, but I'd say the majority, you're being overcharged and underdelivered. So what I believe is that you don't need to be spending $60,000 or $65,000 a month if you are a 100-car store. If you're a 100-car store, you should be only spending like under 50, maybe 45 grand. So the other 15 grand times 12, it's about $180,000 in savings. Now, what am I talking about? If you save that money and you instead focused on your CRM, using the data mining, the equity mining, using the CRM to work and sell more B-backs. If you're using the CRM to work the service drive, service conversions, unsold service customers, orphan owners, if you use the CRM for acquisition opportunities, there's so much that you can do to sell a lot more cars. Specifically, I believe that you should be able to, if you sell 100 cars average, to just net lift you 27%. You could sell an easy 27 additional cars because there's 8 ways that a showroom salesperson could sell a car: walk-in, be-back, internet, phone, prior customers, orphan owners, service conversions, the lost, art of prospecting. So I'm going to repeat that. You can save $15,000 a month on your advertising spend. Keep that money and instead learn how to utilize and maximize your CRM. In addition to being able to find those deals, I firmly believe not only can you save $15,000 a month, you should be able to sell 27, additional units a month at 3G's a copy. You should be able to, sell an additional 50 to 60 ROs a month. So again, if you add it up, I believe between savings and net lift, a broken CRM or underutilized CRM is costing your dealership about $1.4 million. Now, if you're a 200-car store, that's $2.8 million, and then so on and so on. So that was kind of the keynote. I'm going to go more, but Jenna, let's tag you in. You were one of our featured panelists. So tell everybody about the panel, who was on the panel, what was discussed. Kevin Schmidt is one of the senior performance managers, directors. He's like the face of Vin Solutions. He's an incredible guy. Then there was Brian Armstrong, who is the director of e-commerce for a VW, store. And then you had yourself, formerly of Bobby Ford and Dealer Synergy. And then you had Nelson Lyles, the managing partner of a dealer group that's gone public. And he's the cover story of Dealer Magazine for July, August. Now that I've set it up, go through the content.
All right. So Kevin Schmidt of Vin Solutions, he was talking about processes and having, your processes set up correctly. And I think a lot of people got a lot of context out of what he was saying when, he was speaking on the panel about, having the right process up and understanding about every lead has, the right process and the meaning behind it. The biggest thing that spoke to me about is when he was talking about, closing showroom visits and in live time, because it sets the process up in that time. If you close a showroom visit at 3 p.m. and your process is to go off at 3 p.m., it's going to go off then at 3 p.m. If you don't close it and then automatically shuts it off at midnight, your process is going to go off at midnight. And that just spoke to so many people, and you could kind of see it resonate with people in the audience because, people get busy, managers get busy, and they don't close showroom visits. But people don't understand, by not closing a showroom visit, by not closing an appointment, you're affecting the process in the run of it. Nelson, when he was talking about how they started doing, video and their emails and how they got their engagement up. And Sean, you can talk a little bit about the engagement of video, but that was awesome how Nelson was able to take their email engagement and video and increase it.
So do me a favor, kind of go through the showroom visit, like use that
Okay.
in live time, because again, it's really important that our audience understands they don't have all the years that you do. That most people have
Mm-hmm.
never worked at a department selling 350 cars out of their inner department. So don't take for granted. So try to imagine if you're training like our international employees, right?
Okay.
You're teaching them. So explain exactly if you said that it was like an epiphany about
Mm-hmm.
the showroom in real time. So break that down so we can understand it.
Yeah, if you have a customer that comes in and they come in at 1 o'clock and you start that showroom visit, in Vin Solutions, you literally can check off. You should be having like almost check-in moments with your salesperson. Hey, when they bring up numbers, okay, you're getting ready as a sales manager to desk their deal. Hey, did you do a demo drive? Okay, check. Did you do a walk around? Check. Vin Solution has little check marks that you get to walk through the road of the sale, and you can check those boxes off. Did you TO the customer? There's another checkbox. Okay, you give them numbers, they're getting ready to go over. So then, even in Vin Solutions, it will take you through. Even you can literally mark a deal sales pending or sold and do the whole financing aspect in it in Vin Solutions. And you can book it sold, or if they don't buy, you would close that visit. And when you close that visit, it kicks it into the be back status. But what happens in most dealerships is they don't close the visit because sales managers aren't having that closed TO conversation with the customer, so they don't know what's going on, or they're just too busy and they're not debriefing with their salesperson at the end of it. So they just leave the visit sit there. And then what Vin Solutions will do after 24 hours is it will automatically close that visit. But here's the part that will break the CRM. It doesn't kick it into that VBAC status. It will actually leave it in whatever status it was previously there. So it kind of gets lost in that dark hole where, like, most people will have your salespeople come in and work your VBACs first thing in the morning. They actually won't be able to find that lead because it's somewhere where, they can't find Betty Sue, because Betty Sue was that showroom visit, where if that visit gets closed correctly, it will kick it into that be back status and they'll be able to find that lead right away.
See, Jenna, I loved that. And the way that you broke it down was as a super high level manager and executive that you are, you know? So now I'm gonna take up Nelson. So Nelson Lyles is the managing director of the Withers Automotive Group in Chrysler, Lawrenceburg in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. And what he said a lot of things. He's super polished. I mean, I loved it. I just got the keynote digital deal with him like 3 weeks ago, and now we're in Chicago together. But one of the things that I like, Jenna, is that what he said, and I'm going to paraphrase, is that we're focused on having our people dial, 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 where it's is that really what we want? Or is it the
Yeah.
connections? So what he was saying is that, as a manager or as a leader, instead of just saying, hey, just dial, 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 just keep dialing, there is some validity to that, but it's about the connections. How can you get contacts? And what he said, he shared a story that he was talking about. He's got some young people, some Gen Z employees at his dealership, and they're like, they were struggling making 120 phone call attempts. But one of his employees was like, exactly. You want 100 phone call attempts, and I'm only going to talk to 8 people. Is it the contacts, the conversation support? Yes. He's like, so do you really care how I connect with people? He's like, no. He came back the next day with 4 connections, and they're all through text message. And it makes sense. His big thing, and he said he loved with Vin, was the text messaging capability. And we've heard this before, 96 to 97% of all text messages get read. I'm going to repeat that. 96 to 97% of all text messages get read. But there's so many people that are not leveraging Vin Solutions text messaging. Now, in Vin Solutions, there's a couple different options. You've got the SMS, which is the regular text messaging feature. And then you got the MMS, which is multimedia text messaging. And what people don't realize is that I know some stores, we talked about this, that don't even have SMS text messaging capabilities through the CRM, which kind of floored me because that's one of the most basic things that you should have with a CRM is text messaging capabilities. But if there's different levels and different options, I would absolutely encourage you all not to be cheap or respectfully frugal and skip out on the MMS, okay? Because with the multimedia, now you could send video text messages. Now, the other aspect in VinSolutions MMS capabilities is not only can you send video text messages, which are more powerful, sight, sound, motion, emotion, they increase engagements, they can increase conversions, et cetera, but check this out. You're able to automate text messages. The only way that you could come up with a CRM action plan for automated text messages, day 1 text message, day 2 text message, day 3 text message templates, text message text templates, text message video templates, etc., is if you've got the MMS feature. So he was basically saying that there's definitely a difference in the dealership in age, in generation when it comes to communication. So your younger people, I mean millennials and younger, the Gen Zs and whatever is after them now, I don't even know, I keep it up with this stuff, is that these people are really comfortable with text messaging. So as managers, don't just be focused on attempts, calls. What we're really looking for is engagements, conversations. And the way that we find them in the CRM is we could find the ability to communicate through email. We could have ability to communicate with text message. We could communicate with digital retailing. We could communicate through chat. We could communicate through voicemail messages back and forth. We could communicate through video like Apple FaceTimes or Skypes or Zooms, or we could communicate on the phone. So that's the thing that we need to focus on, Jenna, is the diversification.
The Millionaire Car Salesman podcast is on your radio.
This episode is brought to you by Podium. Here's a question. How much would your business change if you had one more employee who worked 24/7 to turn every lead, including the ones that come in after hours, into a test drive, sale, and more money for your dealership? Meet Jerry, Podium's new AI BDC. Jerry is a lead conversion powerhouse designed to respond instantly to every incoming lead, to answer questions accurately, keep leads warm, and schedule test drives, all without direct human supervision. And the best part, with a seamless handoff to staff on the sales floor, customers will never know they were interacting with an AI to begin with. See how Podium's AI BDC can help you sell more cars by visiting podium.com/MCS. That's podium.com/MCS, or click the link in the show notes below.
Okay, so now What were you talking on the panel? Okay, let's talk about you. What nuggets did you share? What insights did you share? Because they loved you there.
Yeah, I got to talk about what I like to call the yesterday report. The yesterday report was a report that I used every single day, and it was kind of my lifesaver report. It's a report that will literally break down everything that happened yesterday. The top half of the report will show you all your showroom visits that didn't sell. So I was going over, tidbits that you can do, the showroom visits that didn't sell because of trade. You can get with your managers and get other eyes on the trade. You can get with your appraisers and have the vehicles reappraised, get another voice to reach out and explain the trade appraisal to the customer, get another appraisal on it to see if the car's even worth being bought. If you couldn't get financing done on the customer, get another finance manager to look at the financing, or, go to that manager who's good at bad credit customers, maybe have them look at another bank option or get you another option, subprime vehicle car for that customer to reach out to. If the vehicle wasn't available anymore, making sure wish lists are started in Mint Solutions, getting with your vehicle buying center, getting that rep out looking for a vehicle that met their wants, wishes, and expectations to try to find them. Let them know that you're going to search for the vehicle that you're looking for. That was a lot of things you could do with visits that were not sold from the day before. And we were really good with that. Then you have the golden nugget one, which was all your phone ups from the day before that were both incoming and outcoming that people made connections with that didn't set appointments. And I always like using that one because one, you can make another phone call out from a manager standpoint to those leads. You can pull those phone calls and use coaching moments. You can sit down with the rep for coaching moments, and review notes in the leads, what happened, come up with action plans to see, what you can do to try to get the appointment out of that customer or save that deal. And sometimes those leads were, deals that were working in process, whether it was proposals that we did, at Bob Ruth Ford, and make sure the deal was still being worked at that point in time. But there was always a deal that you could find. And then even further down the report is conversations, emails, and text messages that you could click in and review what was being said, how it was being said. And then that even spiked the conversation, with the group of what are the emails being sent out from your employees? Are you reading them? How are they being sent? How are they being composed? Are you having conversations with the ones that are not being composed properly? And are you coaching and teaching your people to send a proper email or a text message out to the customer? I really liked how much engagement we got out of that conversation. I think Kevin even weighed in on that one later on. Are we having these conversations with our people about sending a proper email and text message? And I don't think anybody in that room felt that anyone and their staff was sending a good text message or email. And that was kind of scary when you kind of sat back and heard about that.
Yeah, I would say that you are 1000% correct. And do you remember what Brian Armstrong brought to the table from his perspective at the VW stores on the panel?
The one thing that I took away from what he had talked about is how he did the time slots with his team on what they were talking about when they were reaching out. Like, he had a time slot of, hey, we were reaching out during this time and we're talking about referrals. We're reaching out in this time slot and we're talking about, buying their vehicle, or we're reaching out this time slot and we're talking to our subprime. Like, that's how he broke down conversations for his teams to keep them focused on what they were talking about and topics versus then kind of doing buckets. And I thought that was kind of a different way that worked for his team, breaking topics down by times.
No, I would agree. And so transitioning after, my keynote, our amazing panel, then it went to Kevin Schmidt's presentation. What did you get out of Kevin's presentation? He had a lot of information.
He did. He had a whole bunch of information. He went on over like a bunch of different reports and VIN and stuff like that. But I like how he started with the data capture, like how important it is in your dealerships to get all the customers' information, and how he made it like a focus. Okay, this week we're going to focus on making sure we get email addresses. And when he goes into a dealership, that's where you started to form the habit, like email addresses this week. And then he went on to like make sure you get the phone numbers, and then make sure you get the addresses. And then there's a report, and it's called the data capture report, that you can pull, and your people should not be below 80% in this. Obviously you want them at 100% because you want 100% data capture, but your people, the standard should be not below, Kevin was telling us. But he said you start in little bits of pieces, email, address, phone number, but obviously you want to get all three. And then once you hit the benchmark of 80%, you want to move that up to 100% of data capture.
Again, he was so strong with it. Give me more nuggets that you got from him, and then I'm going to jump in on some of the things I got from him.
The other report that he touched on was the appointment performance report. He touched on this one with the BD department, on how your managers and BD managers can pull this one, and it'll help gauge and see like your areas of opportunity in your BD department. And I kind of liked how like he had suggested not paying your BD departments on appointment set, but on appointment show, because that's the result that you want. You want that appointment to show, and you can set your goals in this report and stuff like that. So that was a very interesting report. I don't think I ever remembered using that report, but that was an interesting one that he started talking about, and what he goes over in the stores, and the goals and stuff that you can set up in that report as well.
Yeah, and in the Millionaire Car Salesman group, I took a screenshot of one of his slides, and I posted it in there. And the reports to remember, it's the contact info capture, email capture, text opt-in, driver's license scan. The enterprise performance, most valuable report for managers view, can be changed in multiple ways. The dealership performance report, this report allows you to see not only the summary, it will show you the breakdown. And then team performance dashboard allows you to see the leads and activity by user. Drillable reports as well take you to the coaching dashboard, salesperson, BDC agent, using first team performance dashboard. So do you want to comment on any of those reports that I just mentioned?
The coaching dashboards,
Oh my God.
there's one for BD agent, and there's one for salespeople. If you're not using those at the first, middle, and end of your month with your salespeople and BD agents for one-on-one check-ins, whatever you call them, those are such good nuggets. But not only that, your salespeople and BD agents have access to those reports. Salespeople, especially if you even have the buying signals, your salespeople's buying signals are in that dashboard. So all those insights of where people are shopping, all that's in there for your salespeople to click around and see where their customers in their pipeline are shopping. And they can remember, what did Kevin say? If it's blue, it's clickable for you. That was his key thing. So all those buying signals are going to be in there, and it's going to be clickable for the salespeople to see where their customers and their pipelines are shopping around too. But I always like the sales people, because at the bottom, it'll have their road to the sale as well. So if you have a salesperson that's struggling, pull up their dashboard, because you'll be able, if a sales manager is using the tool correctly, and you'll be able to see where they're struggling in the road to the sale at the bottom. And okay, maybe you have somebody who's not doing very good walkarounds or demos, or they're not selling cars. Well, they're not TOing their customers because no one's checking the box for any TOs. It's such a snapshot of your salespeople, and it's such a dashboard that's underutilized so much in both departments, for BD agents and your salespeople.
So I unfortunately know for a fact that most VIN Solutions dealers are not maximizing all of these insights, all these reports, all these dashboards, the coaching dashboard. They're just not doing it. And how do I know? Because they're not even setting up the processes and the templates and the basic ABCs and one, two, threes of CRM. If you're not doing that, then you're definitely not leveraging all these resources. So, Jenna, can you stress one last time how important it is to utilize all of these tools, within the CRM if you want to have a shot at truly being effective in this?
Absolutely. And I think that was one of the reasons why I was so successful at Bob Ruth Ford is because I used these tools. I clicked in my insights. I used these reports. I use the reports on a daily basis to help point out opportunities. When your sales manager or GM comes to you and says, hey, get me a car deal today, these are the reports that I went to find these reports to. And, 5-10 minutes later, I came up and I said, okay, here's your deal. And use your PMs, hold your PMs accountable to meetings because that's how you're going to learn. You need to make time to learn your tool, and your PM is going to be your tool to learn it. You have to schedule at least at a minimum a one-on-one with your PM monthly. And you have to show up. You have to show up to that meeting and learn. I used to do a bi-weekly call with my PM. Every 2 weeks we did a call, and he always, if we didn't review a report, we made a new one. He asked me, where I was going, what I was working on this month, and we went over a report, or we created something new, or we went over something in the CRM. He showed me something new, or we reviewed something in the CRM to make sure I fully entirely understood it, because I think that's a little bit of a struggle. There is a lot in Vin Solutions. There's a lot in every CRM, and don't just expect to know what's going on in it. You have to ask, you have to review it, because you might understand it, and you go through it again, you wait, maybe I'm not sure. Talk it out with your PM, talk it out, because you may not have a full understanding of what it actually can do. And then before you know it, you get further down in the report and there's something else down there that you may not understand or utilize, and there's a car deal for you.
Okay, now let's go into the roundtable rotations. First of all, I'm really honored that Cox Automotive had chosen me and Dealer Synergy. Guys, they were so kind. When you walked in there, it said Cox Automotive and Sean V. Bradley's Dealer Synergy. We were the only, it was a co-event. These are all their dealers, but they gave us so much love and so much, respect. I just want to just shout out and thank them again. However, I'm really proud that they used one of our strategies. Whenever I do my IS20G or my Internet Sales 20 Group conferences, we do what's called roundtable rotations. There's basically, try to imagine there's 250 rooftops, Toyota OEM, all these dealer principals, GMs, internet directors, BDC managers, and automotive professionals are in this big room. We broke down to 4 breakout sessions and a performance manager, one-on-one. So there's 5 sessions. You're able to go to each of them in 80 minutes. So there's 5 tables or 5 categories. You get to pick 4, and it's like speed dating. So here's what the 4 were, and then the separate one. So we had one for internet BDC, which I hosted, and then it was showroom sales, which Jenna hosted, and then it was reporting analytics that Kevin Schmidt hosted, and they had another Cox performance manager that hosted the automotive intelligence, right? And what happened is 250 people had to pick which 4 subjects or a private one-on-one with the Vin Solutions performance manager on their account. And so it was so cool to see all these people come to the different tables. So you might have 30 or 40 or 50 people or more at a table. And then, they're only there for 20 minutes. And when they get there, there's no PowerPoint, there's no, agenda other than it's like a cipher, like a rap battle, like 8 Mile from Eminem. Like, you're just there. And they're shotgunning question. So I'm going to let you go first. So Jenna, tell everybody what you told me. You were so happy and so proud of why. So explain first, what was your experience there? And then, what did you talk about? And this is really important. You had 4 different sessions. You had 80 minutes of back-to-back, groups. Talk about how you felt and then transition to what questions were people asking you and what were your answers. Go ahead.
It was
Car Salesman Podcast is on your radio.
This has been the most in-depth training I've had in my lot of years in the car business.
We went from 60 cars to 156 cars a month in 3 months.
NAMAD, the entire Toyota Chicago region, as well as the top automotive groups like Coons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their team.
They're the most comprehensive training company I've seen, and they by far have the best support system.
Doing 50 cars a month, topped out at 80. I can tell you that the Bradley On Demand training will get you to the next level.
And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand.
What I learned from Bradley On Demand is you can teach an old dog new tricks. I thought I knew it all.
I thought it was just going to be the same old stuff. It's all new. It's all fresh. It's genuine material.
Bradley On Demand is just an incredible power tool. Every dealer should take advantage of that.
Our clients love Bradley On Demand. We've generated over $12 billion of additional revenue for our clients.
Went from selling 75 internet leads to we've hit almost 250 the last couple months.
I doubled my income. I sold 21 cars for 4 months straight.
If you're still not enrolled in Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on the best virtual automotive training in the world. Enroll now or contact us for a free test drive of the platform today.
It was so cool just to see people sit down and they were just so happy to meet me, shaking my hand and oh my God, loving what I talked about like on the panel. And like even people that were just like, oh my God, I'm so happy to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. That was probably like the coolest experience for me. But no, it was exactly like you said, people were just shotgunning questions left and right to me. And sometimes it even wasn't about showroom sales or anything like that. But sometimes it was. I had a lot of managers talk to me about morning meetings. So we talked about, how, meetings you start with good things and you keep the problem, you keep the negative to a meeting, because a morning meeting should kind of be like a hype up, but you do have to address a problem like here or there, because if you don't address a problem, how are you ever going to fix it? But then again, like you talk about a good thing at the end, almost like a good burger sandwich, as LA always taught me, he kind of called it. And then we talked about like other things about having other team members read reviews and things like that. And then you do, celebrations, and they really, really liked that idea. So we, shared that. And then other people were sharing things that they'd like to talk about, in their morning meetings and things like that. And then they were like, we all kind of came to the same agreement that you keep the morning meeting message the same throughout the week, because you have people that start later shifts, and then you keep the, and morning shifts aren't always there. People have day off, but Monday morning meetings, that's when you change up the message. And from Monday morning meetings, you change it. You don't change it throughout the week, because you have so many people off and on. You don't want to get a message out there that somebody's off and then they miss, and then you recap anything on Monday morning. And that's when your important messages are out: the first day of the month, the end of the month, and your Monday morning meetings. And everybody was like, no, like that makes total sense. You don't want to change something when somebody's off, when your full team's here. I was like, and if it's a Wednesday and your full team's here, absolutely. If you have something important you need to go over, then you only do it when your full team is here. And everybody was like, you just saw light bulbs go off. And I was like, you just kind of thought that was something so little, but until you said it out loud and you saw people with the light bulb go off, that was really, really important to them. And then the really cool one was like, I'm a salesperson. Where can I find deals? And we went into a CRM right there in front of him. And I was just kind of like, oh, you start hearing your sold follow-up. And he had buying signals, and he didn't even know where his buying signal dashboard was. So I went right into his coaching, his salesman coaching dashboard. And I'm like, they're all right here. And it was really cool to pull his coaching dashboard up and show him that he had a customer in his dashboard that was on Auto Trader looking at Toyotas, and he had a Toyota that was in his lot. The customer was on Auto Trader looking at a similar vehicle that he could send him an email. I was like, send him an email. I said, and when you see that italics come by and showing that he looked at it, I said, do not text him. Do not send him another email. Pick up the phone and talk to him about that vehicle. I said, you know, a lot of times you can send that kind of soft email to kind of open the door. I said, because this customer doesn't know that you saw that he was looking on Auto Trader, because he's not looking at Auto Trader at your car. He's looking at something else, but you're going to send the nugget because of how the AI for the buying signal does work. And he thought that was the coolest thing on the face of the planet, but no one ever taught him how to do it. No one ever taught him that way. He's like, I have all these buying signals, but I didn't know how to work it. I didn't know what they meant. So that was really cool that I was able to help him and whatnot. And then I just had like a lot of other people, you know, ask me about, you know, the vehicle buying centers. We had conversations about vehicle buying centers and of course our outsourcing BDC and how that worked. And so we talked a lot about all that stuff. There were so many questions, Sean. I could go over a whole bunch more, and I'm just like, I can't even remember some of them now.
No, so for me, like I was handling the internet BDC, the types of questions that I was getting were all over the place. Like a lot of it was HR, and you know they were asking me questions a lot about our outsourced BDC in Belize. You know, they were just like, so it was crazy. And shout out to Cox Automotive because I didn't want to turn it into an outsourced BDC commercial, but these dealers were like, what I found is that it's bad. Like a lot of stores have too many leads. Not enough people, and the people that they have are not trained and or not motivated the right way. So I did have a lot of people ask, and we actually, you know, have some demos set up today, like right after this podcast with one of these for, you know, an outsourced BDC client. And so, yes, but then in addition, they asked about lead routing. You know, they were asking, okay, what's the best strategy for this? So I want to give this little tip. And I said, look, you know, like, well, how many leads can somebody have? And I was shocked, Jenna, that so many people didn't realize that there's a formula for this. If you are brand new at the dealership in BDC or you're underperforming, you shouldn't have any more than 80 to 100 fresh leads. If you're average, 100 to 120 fresh leads. If you're above average, 120 to 150 leads, because you got to remember, it's not just your fresh lead count. Okay, this might, if you were in a BDC, you might also have phone ups. So how the heck are you going to handle 100, 120, 150 internet email purchase requests and X amount of phone ups? And don't forget your carryover leads. When you started November 1st, you didn't start with zero unless you were brand new. But if you worked at the dealership for at least a couple months, then you had 3 months of residual flow factor carryover leads. And so they were kind of shocked. And then I shared with them the dealer synergy strategy for lead distribution and lead routing. This isn't Obamacare. This isn't a socialist republic. There's something called intelligent lead routing. What I recommend is when you first start a department, you want to be able to round robin the leads only for one reason, because you don't know who's good at what and specializes in what. But after 3 months of close analyzing the data in Vin Solutions or any other CRM, natural patterns are going to evolve. You're going to notice certain people are better with trucks. Certain people are better with used cars. Certain people are better with new cars. Certain people are better with minivans. Certain people are better at leases versus finance, and so on and so forth. So what you want to be able to do is after the first 3 months of, and that's just, it's not like a time thing. Oh, 3 months, ding, 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 let's do this. No, you have to be analyzing for 3 months, looking at data, looking at trends, looking at patterns, looking at strengths, looking at weaknesses, etc. After thorough analysis of a quarter of 3 months, then you could do what's called intelligent lead routing, where you're going to redistribute the leads based on people's specialties and people's peak performance. That concept blew people's minds. Then we're talking about scheduling. I'm like, and this is how we got back into the outsourced BDC. There's so many dealerships that close their dealership at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, etc. And I'm explaining to these people, if you close your dealership Monday through Friday, at least 2 days before 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, you're killing yourself because prime time to connect on the phones is between 6 and 8 p.m. So I respect that you want to have work-life balance and all like that. But look, do you want to make a lot of money? Well, then you need to be where the fish are at when the fish are biting. And we track tens of millions of outbound phone calls, and we track the connection ratio, the time of day, etc. And bottom line, between 6 and 8 p.m., that is the prime time to engage and interact with prospects. So you need to make sure that your schedule and your automation and your AI is functioning, especially if you're going to close your dealership before 8 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, or worse, at 6 o'clock. So that was good. Then we were talking about, best practices, which this is a whole nother podcast of how to handle internet leads. And since it was CRM, we were talking about one of the big things that people were utterly blown away. They thought the only thing that their employees should be doing was phone call, emailing, and text messaging. And I'm like, no, that is the bare minimum that your people should do is phone call, email, text. I respectfully want to add, in addition to, not instead of, but in addition to phone call, email, text, you've got social media DMs, Facebook DMs, Instagram DMs, LinkedIn DMs, WhatsApp DMs, TikTok DMs, direct messaging. You've got Apple FaceTime. You've got Zooms, you've got chats, you've got so many different forms of communication. I said, try to imagine if you're able to diversify. Can you imagine if you leverage your CRM where you've got automated video emails, which increase read open rates up to 300%. So you've got automated emails for every possible situation and automated text messages. Wrap your mind, dealers, managers, listen to me. Can you imagine, whether you're in VinSolutions CRM or any other CRM out there, if you set up a complete automated email strategy, an automated text message strategy, an automated video email text message strategy, for all categories, for internet leads, for OEM leads, for your Cars Direct leads, for your special finance auto credit express leads, or for your acquisition leads, for your finance leads, for your special finance leads, for your trade-in leads. Do you see what I'm saying? There should be stuff for your leads, but then what about for B-backs? Somebody comes into your dealership and they don't buy a car. Can you imagine in your CRM you have a video email from the GSM that says something like this? Hey, my name is Sean Brown. I'm the general sales manager here at ABC Motors, and I saw that you came into the dealership today, and I wanted to make sure that you had an incredible experience and that you met somebody from our management team. Also, I see that you didn't purchase a vehicle today. And as the general sales manager, I wanted to see if there's anything I could do to help you with that, whether it's about the price of the vehicle, or your trade-in, or credit. If there's anything I could do to help you in your shopping and buying experience, that's what I'm here for. Stop. You can automate that. It's like a video TO for a B-back. Every time a manager ends visit, as an unsold show on traffic, there could be a automatic video, email, video, text message from the GSM. How about when I blew their minds when we were talking about the dead deal TO? Anytime somebody marks a lead lost or bad in the CRM, you could have a video TO. So just play this out. Let's say Jenna is my sales rep or my BDC rep, and she deads an internet prospect, just dead lead, change mind, bought elsewhere, whatever. Can you imagine automatically there's a video from the dealer principal? Hey, my name is Sean Bradley of Bradley Automotive. I wanted to thank you so much for reaching out to us, in regards to your car shopping and buying experience. However, it's come to my attention that you are no longer interested to purchase a vehicle. And I, as the owner of the company, wanted to personally reach out to you and make sure that was accurate, one, and we didn't misunderstand something. Two, that it wasn't something that we did. I want to make sure you had an incredible experience, that we got you all the information that you were looking for. We helped you, whether it was pricing or credit or your trade information. And if there's anything I could do as the owner of the company to help you, in the purchase or the trade-in of your vehicle, I'm here. Again, they were blown away. And I'm like, guys, it's like having an iPhone 16 Pro, but you're using it like a ghetto Con Air phone with a rotary dial and a 3-foot extension cord from the kitchen to the outside of the house. You know what I mean? Like, don't use an iPhone 16 Pro like you're going to use a rotary dialed phone with a cord. What you want to be able to do is make sure, and I repeat, make sure that we are giving these people every possible resource. I mean, we are multi-million and multi-billion dollar businesses. Why are we being ghetto with communications? Why are we being, basic when it comes to interactions? We have artificial intelligence, which we didn't even talk about in this podcast, but that was a huge conversation, utilizing both the current AI that VinSolution has and the mind-blowing next gen AI that they are in the process of releasing right now was just incredible. Jenna, incredible. Think about this. Can you imagine if you utilize artificial intelligence, true machine learning AI, and you were programming it and it was evolving, it was learning to be able to be not just an extra BDC rep, but that's what AI is. It's like being a team, a legion, a battalion of BDC reps and sales, people. You have a whole team of people, metaphorically speaking, through artificial intelligence and technology. And then that's separate. AI, artificial intelligence, it's separate from automating videos, automating text messages, automating emails. So now when we're leveraging the full power, the full capacity of automation and artificial intelligence and technology, that is our technology resources. Then what does that do? That allows the human resources, the salespeople, the BDC reps, the managers, the F&I service, it allows the human resources to focus predominantly, exclusively on higher level activities that are going to yield more conversions, more engagements, more appointments, more shows, and more sales. And I can't wait to release the video because this entire event was video recorded and broken down. And as soon as we start getting the assets, we're going to start deploying them here in the Millionaire Car Salesman Group. But man, Jenna, it was a massive success.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, the best feeling, and I'm gonna release some of these videos, is I had people come up to me, oh my God, I knew you, we were one of your first clients in 2004 when you started the company. That's like 20 years, almost 21 years ago. People are like, I can't believe how much you've blown up and you're doing this. And I knew you when. And I'm like, man, I'm still here. I'm still the same Sean Bradley. Like the amount of appreciation from Toyota manufacturer, from multi-billion dollar dealer groups that attended this thing, it was just so gratifying and fulfilling to see, over 250 rooftops and OEMs and Cox Automotive and Dealer Synergy in one huge room and just trying to get people better. The synergy, conversation, the collaboration, the interdependence. This was just phenomenal, Jenna. So as we start to close this episode down, is there anything you want to add about this experience?
I think Brian Armstrong said it right when he was on the panel too. If it's not in VinSolutions, it didn't happen.
Agreed, 1000%. And the final thing I'm going to say is that, the theme everybody was asking, when is Cox Automotive, when's VinSolutions going to be doing another one? Like DJ Khaled, another one. You know what I mean? Everybody was
like, come to my town and do one.
Yeah, no, it was cool. So, I'm assuming that we're going to do more with, Cox Automotive and VinSolutions, but I got a super big announcement, man. We have been working for years to put this deal together, but I'm going to tease you. There is a big announcement coming from Promax and NCC. My God, everybody's talking about this CRM and that CRM. Most of you have not even seen the new Promax UI and UX. You got to imagine Promax has been in business for the last 31 years. 31 years Promax has been in business. They have always been the absolute preeminent CRM as it relates to special finance and financing and just the technology. And now that they've been acquired by NCC, the National Credit Center, there's going to be a big rebrand where, Promax branding is going to dissipate and it's just going to be NCC CRM, National Credit Center CRM. The amount of functionality, technology, and resources I'm proud to say a lot of the features and the technology stuff that's in the new UI UX has come from a lot of strategy sessions and think tanks of yours truly, Sean V. Bradley. So I'm really excited. My visions. I was, as you guys know, I'm on the advisory board on so many different CRM companies, and I love Vin, but I also love Promax, and again, I love Coca-Cola, but guess what? I like Dr. Pepper too. Again, and I might just be radical one day and get me some pink lemonade. It is what it is. So my thought is this: if you're thirsty, you need something that's going to quench your thirst. If you need technology, if you need CRM, there's options out there. And I'm excited to be able to do what I did yesterday for our industry because I love our industry, but for companies like Promax and NCC as well. So anyway, Jenna, I can't tell you how proud I am that you're on our team. I can't tell the world loud enough how proud I am how you represented our industry well and our company well. I mean, there is nothing more higher level than what we did yesterday. I mean, there's other higher level things that might be equal.
Yeah.
We are with one of the most gigantic, one of the most rich companies in the entire automotive industry, Cox Automotive and Vin Solutions and Toyota Manufacture. And we were co-partners and co-producers in this thing. So you should be very proud, girl. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much, Sean. I was. It was awesome. Thanks for having me there.
And a special shout out to Tiana. Tiana is usually the celebrity that's speaking, and she was there, because she's the chief marketing officer and chief sales officer. So she was doing sales, business development, and she was kind of coordinating with the video production team and gathering assets for marketing and promotions. But, it was just us three. Like we were like the special forces. And that was kind of cool because Cox Automotive had all these people. There was all these dealers and the OEM was there. And then here's little old dealer synergy with Sean and, Jenna and Tiana. And we represented, they understood what the color orange was about. Good. All right, everybody, this is SVB, and the place to be is the Millionaire Car Salesman Group. I want to encourage you guys to keep going to the Facebook, group, post your best practices, your stories, and keep inviting automotive professionals, managers, and dealer principals. We want to keep growing this community. We want to keep growing the information, the knowledge, the network. And remember, your net worth is built upon your network. I'm out. Take care.
Fast response times can help you beat the dealer down the street. Get a tool that can respond to your leads in 15 seconds or less and help you book test drives 24/7, nights and weekends, so you can sell more cars. Podium's AI BDC is a conversational AI employee who sells, schedules, and talks with customers day and night and sounds like your best sales rep. Transform potential interest into sales today with Podium. Visit podium.com/MCS to see what AI can do for your dealership. That's podium.com/MCS or click the link in the show notes.